Harassment. So Saturday, exactly 9 p.m. Welcome to the Perception Show. Find us, if you have the Fiktube app, you can find us on Fiktube, or you can find us at www.fiktube.com every Saturday, 9 p.m. I remain Sharon Ilalo. Today we are going to talk about sexual harassment in schools, in employment, in the informal sector, in markets, in streets, and everywhere. Okay, when you look at sexual harassment, this involves any unwelcome sexual behavior that may lead to intimidation of the person. So any unwelcome sexual behavior, it doesn't necessarily mean maybe but pranking someone, or maybe forcefully kissing someone, or rape, or defilement. It comes down to the small things that we do. For example, making funny jokes, silly jokes about sex around someone who is not comfortable with it. That is also sexual harassment. It entails a lot of things. But before we go any further, let me give my colleagues a chance to introduce themselves.
Wow, it's a pleasure to be on this show again, The Perception. It has been a good show. I'm called Lawrence, Nzabonimpa. I'm glad to be in this place. And we are going to be in the discussion of sexual harassment. Please, we appreciate if you incline your ears onto us. Thank you very much.
I thank Fiktube and the entire team for the opportunity of appearing on The Perception. I'm Ssejjengo Frank, the team leader where we are a youth organization, an organization that strives for a better life of young people. This organization is behind a campaign called Tokabasanya, which is Zero to Sexual Harassment, which makes us fit to discuss this and whereabouts. I've spent some 2 to 3 years learning and understanding what sexual harassment is in its different aspects in schools, in workplaces, and even in unconsidered situations. So sexual harassment is a broad term, but I thank Fiktube and the entire team for making sure at least we get the little we can to discuss and digest more about it. Good to be here and look forward for a best conversation. Thank you.
Like the saying, change the conversation and change the generation. It's always a pleasure being involved in conversations that impact the community in a positive way. I'm Kasirye Adam, co-founder and brand manager Quill Clothing Uganda. My boss has talked about Tokabasanya campaign. We are also in total support of that campaign, and we have been to a number of them, and we will keep pushing the conversation. Let's change the conversation and change the generation for the better.
Thank you so much. Frank, I want to take this golden opportunity to welcome you to the Perception Show. Just know we are so delighted and we are so honored to have you today. I felt like I needed to say it before we can proceed. Thank you so much. When you look at sexual harassment, maybe, let's say in schools, anyone could be sexually harassed, be it a girl child, a boy child, a teacher. We see these teachers being harassed by their bosses. Some of them are even sexually harassed by students themselves. So we see people, lecturers, officers, we see these days the bed is the table on which contracts are signed. So for you to be given a contract, you sign it on the bed. So meaning someone has to first sleep with you to give you a promotion, to give you a job, to give you a vacancy, and sometimes they're even false. And also that one that may be true, for you to be able to maintain that position, you have to continue offering the services to the boss for you to be able. So this is a very sensitive topic, and it has come to my knowledge that, okay, to our concern, that we really need to talk about this. We need to change, to look for, to tell society and to change their mindset on how they view certain things that could lead to sexual harassment. And also I wanted to point out that sexual harassment as I told you earlier on, it's not just about defilement, it's not about rape alone, it's not about those big things that you know. It comes down to, you know, making those silly comments. You find someone moving on the streets and then you prank the bat. It may not be the bat necessarily, but you touch the waist, you touch the arm, like without being permitted to do so. Making silly comments, like in class, you may stand up and pupils are like, ono simanya aina kabina katona ina, you know, such silly comments. So that does not end there. It psychologically affects such a person, and it has a lot of effects, as we shall see. Mumaso. Thank you. Lawrence, I wanted you to elaborate more about sexual harassment, enlightening the causes.
Thank you very much. Sexual harassment is quite a broad topic. It's quite bigger, but we are going to disintegrate it with the rest of my colleagues here. For me, what I understand, you said it's unwelcome, any unwelcome sexual behavior, and it's also humiliating. It intimidates. So sexual harassment, it's something that I will not say part and parcel of society, but the community somehow, somewhere have normalized it. That's why it has become a very big problem that if it is to be solved, we need to change our perception, to change our mind. That's why I thank you for this program of perception. So you've told me to talk about causes.
Yes, talk about causes.
Causes are quite many, but I'm going to give some, as also my colleagues will give. So, sexual harassment can range from a number of reasons why it happened. For example, it can be cultural traditional practices, and these cultural practices, they are the ones that shape us. They are the ones that give us intrinsic values. They are the ones that gives us the rhythm on which to run, or on the tune on which to take. For example, there are traditional practices like marriage by capture, or breast ironing, whatever. But now my interest will be on what? It will be on marriage by capture, because it's something I'm familiar with and I've seen and I've witnessed happening. In Western Uganda, the culture tells us if you love a girl, you need to, at least, no negotiation. You just run after her. If you manage and you get her, then you manage to do what is required. I mean, like after catching her, then you have intercourse with her, then you've won her. And this has been normalized, and it has been taken to be a normal thing. Yet this is something humiliating and dehumanizing. How can a full human being be captured as if he's a thug, as if this gives like there is no confidence in someone if you can be captured and be taken without your consent, without your will, because of, in the name of cultural practices and traditions. This sounds a bit awkward, but no one talks about it because they see it as normal. But the generation, it's high time for it to change, because because the way the perception has changed, the narrative has changed. Those days they might have brought that culture for good of the society, but now it has turned to be a viper. It has turned to be poisonous. You find someone has captured, let's say, a girl or a teenager, or let's say a woman, because she's interested, but the woman might not be interested. So should we call that one that it's something very good? No, it isn't, because if you're not happy and you're doing such a thing, let me say I'm happy, you're not happy, that doesn't cause add up, it doesn't cause consent. So I think there is a gap between traditional traditional practices and beliefs, then the reality in the place. Because we've seen, you find one man have captured like 3 women, slept on them within a few period of months, all of them are pregnant. So what comes into your mind? And he's not going to marry all of them. Maybe if he's rich, yeah, they can say, maybe you give us 5 cows or 10 cows, because in Western Uganda they deal with cows. There are people who have cows, and they see cows as worth. But now, how do you compare riches with someone's pleasure and interest?
Emotionally, you're draining that person.
Emotionally, you're draining this person, and even physically also, you're suffocating this person. Because all of us, we have different aspirations and goals. So your goals might not be my goals. Your aspirations might not be your aspirations. So there should be a check and a balance between the traditional practices and the reality in the ground, on the ground. So basically, practically, that is what I could say about traditional practices. But however, it's not limited to that. There are many practices like Empalu, when they call it circumcision, traditional circumcision. They call it like, if they have circumcised you, you graduate to another level. Your sexuality changes from being a half man to a man, and so the society, what it calls a man, it's an ideal and a relative term, because what they know, that they are circumcising you to do the work very well. Actually, that's why you find after circumcision, a few days later, you find young teenagers have become a problem in the village. Why? Because they have been circumcised and they have been initiated and they have graduated from a level of being a child to a man, to an adult. So they think that by the mere fact they are circumcised, they will go with each and every one. And society won't blame them. What the qualification they will ask them, they will say, are you circumcised? So the narrative,
You're a man.
You are a man, then you have all the entitlements. But they are not looking at the other person, the offended. They are not looking at the circumstances this girl or this woman is going through. So if we are to balance the boat and we create a free society where everyone has to enjoy his rights and his fundamental rights, we need to look into that. We deconstruct some of those cultural practices and traditions in order to fit in the context we are in today. So I would like to give my colleague I can say a chance or an opportunity to add on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lawrence, for enlightening more about that. I think this discussion is so timely because just of recent, last month, we had reports of one OC that was killed because he raped a 3-year-old young girl. I think that's so fortunate. Just of yesterday, we were at a certain school with our campaign Tokabasanya, engaging young people on causes, effects, and how they can avoid sexual harassment. And oh my God, these discussions with young people, these people go through a lot. And they don't know where and how to report. And there is nothing as hectic as evidence for sexual harassment. That's one of the hardest cases I've had. You don't need to bathe. You don't need to clean up the scene of crime. And these people don't know about this. At the end of the day, you're harassed. You take, for example, a case to police. You ask for evidence. And you can't imagine that a human being is the real evidence. You're the real evidence for your rape. And then we have, I don't minimize their roles, but lawyers always give offenders tricks of skipping these crimes. Hey, you raped her in a blue room, go and change it, it becomes green. When they ask the girl in court which color was the room, it was blue, I'm so sure. Only reaching there and the room is green. It means the case ceases to have meaning. We have 3 forms of sexual harassment. That is verbal, or oral, or psychological. We have physical, we have sexual. the world puts more emphasis on sexual because it involves rape, defilement, and other things. But the most rampant one that happens almost every day is verbal. We are in a generation where mental health is a problem. Everyone is sick in the head. We are mentally ill. We are mad people. You wake up one morning and abuse people online. That one is like this. Someone posts a beautiful picture and then some guy says, Akonkalia. Can you imagine? And we are normalizing this. From the media, the news is fine with reporting rape and defilement. Us, we are fine with retweeting a comment that minimizes or supports someone that raped someone. So I think verbal, and this is hard to fight, because you can't go to police and say, the border guy said to me. At the end of the day, they will ask for evidence, which evidence you can't provide. Ngachitiba, saizi yange, such words that demean women. And at the end of the day, when these guys are victimized, they will be like, chayamba dakagoye. That's not, that is so foolish and bogus an excuse for men to keep on giving such excuses. Because we've seen ladies of 80 years raped, yet they put on Gomez full time. Mad women on the street. What? Anyway, I don't need to get so emotional on this. But with verbal harassment is happening almost every day. We are talking about workplaces, but before these people go to workplaces, they come from schools. So the discussion shouldn't be top to bottom. It should be bottom to top. Our family is introducing sex education to these young people. If you don't teach your girl that since you've got breasts, a man will start saying such and such a thing to you, they will tell it to her without her information. And she will all be excited to receive whatever the man is giving. And in most cases, whatever they are giving is not positive, it's negative. At the end of the day, we are getting early pregnancies, we are getting early marriages, HIV, we are getting child mothers. That's the generation we are living in. We have a joking government. We have a joking generation. That any of us, 3 of 10 young people are jokers. They take life so lightly. They can't sit down and discuss things. They take nothing serious. So with verbal harassment, I don't know how we can regulate this, because you can't control what one types. Especially it goes with cyberbullying. Someone will come up with anything online and it airs. These people that always say bogus things have the biggest followers. These people have the biggest following. Once you talk sense the way we have this perception, you will not find perception having a bigger following than bad black. And when you compare context, what bad black is talking about and what perception is talking, you wonder how we live. So verbal is happening. And I don't know, because it starts with verbal. Before someone harasses you sexually, he will either intimidate you or coerce you or try to deceive you, to put you into a mood, to take you where they need you. They use money. They have so many tricks. They persuade such things to make sure they have you in target. And now people are like, you're talking about female harassment, you're not talking about male harassment. Women have been in the subordination place for almost over how many decades, ever since Jesus was here.
Ever since the creation.
It's just the last 10 or so 20 years that women and other activists have stood up to have women at the front. I think it's so early for us men to make noise. We need to first take the back seat.
It's not like men are there, they have risk, but at least they are somewhere.
They are somewhere. So if we push women to equity, because in most cases equality is funny. Me, I advocate for equity. We give someone what they deserve. Because with equality, women and men are at the same level. Women can't compete with men at a given level according to our societal constructions. But if women are given what they deserve, they can have a chance to fight with men at those grounds. So, like they talked about culture, this is something they warn us against always. You go to a certain village with a rape case in between issues, and guess what? The sheikh told the family, you receive this goat to compensate your daughter's virginity. oh my God, how does this happen? Then we have issues like religion. This is something that has existed for as long as I don't know. But there are some religions that believe once a girl is ready, when the parent feels ready, when the parent feels like their daughter is ready, she can be taken on by an elder. This is so risky to the young people and to everyone. Poverty is increasing rape. A rich man will rape my daughter because they know I can't go anywhere. At the end of the day, they will compensate me with a cow or a goat. And these people's lives are put into risk. We don't have safe spaces. Just of recent, I talked of something and everyone was on my neck. I was talking of scrapping off night preps. Because night preps are a trap for young people to even be harassed more. These people move dark in the night in the morning and dark in the night while going back home. Where is the security? Inside the school, teachers are vultures. These are the potential perpetrators. At night, a class of over 20 girls, 15 are in class, the 5 don't know where they are. Chances are high they are either hiding or they are being used by an elder. You get what I mean? Now we are talking about those in boarding section. There are those that come from home to come and attend night preps. What happens in between? What happens in between? From home to school. And parents are not friendly. These young people will never talk about these things with you until where as an organization comes in 6 months later, when the girl is psychologically tortured, she's infected. A lot happens with sexual harassment. So with sexual harassment we can spend weeks and weeks and weeks discussing, but at least that's a simple preamble. I can talk about it, and then I ask my colleague Adam at least to add a thing or two.
Thank you, moderator. This topic is very interesting, and the most interesting thing about it is like for quite sometimes, like I have been disagreeing with a lot of how it is approached when we want to solve it. I'll first of all talk about this thing of gender equality. It is not bad, you understand? But just like you have said that men have been empowered since the old ages, and now we want to flip the switch. But how are we flipping the switch? To me, I was like, you can't get a girl ready if you are not getting the man who is going to marry them ready. We have to look at both sides. I think it's a question of responsibility. We have to teach people to be responsible. We have to teach people about family values. We have to change that. What are the responsibilities of the man? What are the responsibility of the woman? Because a lot of domestic violence is caused by someone not knowing their responsibility. You are sleeping, your children are hungry, your wife tells you to go and plan, you beat him. Yet you as a man, you are the head of the family and you have to go and outsource for your children. Because a woman was in a meeting and they talked about equality, you have to be also equal. A man will tell him that, you know, my wife, help me and take some water, I want to bathe. She will say like, why don't you take it for yourself? Because we are empowering one side, and we are leaving another side that has been mostly empowered just like that. I think, like we have said, that it starts from a family level. For me, to my experience, I would say like self-esteem is something that we have ignored talking about. It causes a lot of problem. The girl's self-esteem is not empowered, and the boy's self-esteem is not empowered. When someone has, like a boy will be there having only that authority that I'm a man. You understand? People respond bad when they lack options. It is only you have. It's only what you have. You're a man, and it's only what you are saying. But what makes you a man? You understand? If you are told and if you are guided through what makes you a man, you will not just boast about being a man. A man is responsible for his family first, for his community, and for the rest of the world. Like, but we have people who are very lazy and very entitled. You understand? We don't want to work. We don't want to work on our habits because, but yes, we want to be served as kings. That's why I say, like, if we take the responsible route, we remind people about their responsibilities. We remind people about their duties. We boost their self-esteem. I'm a person who deals with issues with a lot of empathy. Recently, I've been reading about that topic a lot. And what I have discovered is we condemn these people who harass people, who harass our daughters, but who brought them up in that way. A lot of people who are doing these things are the most broken. The only thing they have is to command with that authority that they are not even entitled to. They are broken. So we have to find out what broke them and fix that. If we don't fix that, you are going to fix a woman telling her that you have to be equal to a man from Makerere University. This girl is going back to their home in Kabare. The guy is going to marry. The only thing he knows is his cattle and that he is a man. Yes. Two of things this woman will answer to that man, and he will beat her terribly. And I don't know, that's why I find a challenge when we say, like, I think that there is a lot of imbalance on that side. We have to understand one thing. We have all lost way. We have to check our responsibility. We have to boost our self-esteem. People have to get more options to brag about, not just I'm a man. So when it comes to talk about to sexual harassment, some of the causes I also look at are like when it comes to self-esteem, if your esteem is low, you may think someone was saying that the best way of giving up your dignity or your respect is thinking that you don't have any. Someone with a low self-esteem thinks that they don't have any respect. They are not entitled to any dignity. So they give it away at a cheaper cost. You understand? But if we boost the self-esteem, if we keep creating more conversation about the self-esteem, if we take it back to the family roots, it comes to community, it comes to the country, it comes to the world. I think that is my opinion. I think that would serve us better. We have men who think they are men because they wear trousers. We have women who think they are women because they wear dresses. But you don't even know your responsibility as a woman. You lack even respect the way you communicate to people, because that's all you have. That's how you have been taught. I think we need to change the conversation. We need to change our perspective about education. What is education? Education is learning something, learning a skill. A lot of us are limited that to going to school. And people tell me always that I don't like school. I like school. The setting is good, but I think the content is outdated. The setting is good in a position that it gives someone a chance to express, to meet people. Like networking, relationships are very important in your life, but the other content is very bad. Like we don't speak about money, we don't speak about financial literacy. People who don't have options of how to make money will think that success is sexually transmitted. Marry a rich man and be rich. Yet you can work on being a rich lady and someone nice will find you. You understand? Yes, the education system have to change, but we don't have to wait for government. We have to start it at homestead. Today we have an option of social media and internet. Now, this content like this is not in the mainstream media, yet these are the things that they should be talking about. But we have an opportunity that you can shoot it and upload it on Fiktube. You can upload it on Way. You can upload it on Pimpa. Like that's the way to go. Since we know that marketing deals with attention, where is the attention? Today the attention is on social media. The attention is on TikTok. But what content is on TikTok? What is the quality of content there? What is the ICT ministry doing? What is UCC doing? I was watching a man who is a digital expert. He talks about this digital innovation. And we was talking about how big countries are using social media to fight economic wars. For example, TikTok in China rewards doctors, rewards engineers, because that is how they want their youth to be. In Uganda, they reward twerkers, they reward people who speak obscene, because that is what they want your youth to be. Time will come when you need medicine, you have to go to China. When you need a phone, you have to go to China. All you have is dance, twerking. Who is supposed to regulate this? Who is supposed to direct the algorithms? The Ministry of ICT has to wake up. The UCC has to wake up. We people have to wake up. Okay, they are prioritizing twerking, but how often are we speaking about other things? Or we are all going to resort to twerking, because that is what the algorithm reserves. You understand? I have been roasted a lot of time by my friends for having a very independent opinion to what is in place or what is in media. Someone wants you to follow the bandwagon. The education system is not teaching us to think for ourselves. What is geography to you, not to the Muzungu who invented it long time ago? The first school to be found in the world was found with the purpose of creating younger people who can think differently and impact security and impact society. The concept changed. That means this problem was solved and we messed up with it again. We need to change the conversation. Everything starts with a word. Words make statements. Statements make sentences. Sentences make conversations.